We have started the year off with some great first impressions videos here at the channel, featuring some updates to some very popular trail running shoes, including the latest Lone Peak from Outsole. We've also had Saucony's Peregrine 13s and their new Exodus Ultra 2s. But in today's video, we are talking all about a new model from the KAILAS brand, and it is their hybrid running shoe, the FUGA YAO. So let's jump into the video, give you guys a few facts and figures, and then we're going to be hitting the trails of Cornwall and taking these out for their first run. Welcome back, folks. Hope everybody is fit and well out there. I'm Lloyd Purvis and you are watching Run4Adventure. It's great to have you back and thanks for watching. But if you have just discovered the channel and you enjoy what you see, then why not consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Only takes a second to do and it is completely free, but it definitely is a big help. But back to today's shoe in question, and let's give you guys a few facts about the new FUGA YAO. Firstly, if I flip the shoe over and show you the lug on the outsole, or should I say lack of lug on the outsole, you'll see what I mean by this is a hybrid shoe, and it's been designed to soak up long sections of tarmac, gravel path, or very dry summer trails. So on today's run, we are going to be heading up the A30 up country to find the perfect testing ground. So the FUGA YAO retails for $160, so around about £135 here in the UK. So a reasonably priced hybrid running shoe when you consider some of the prices in the crazy running shoe world at the moment. Weight-wise, weighs in at 304 grams in a UK 9, and if I'm honest, that's about all the information I've got, because the details on the KAILAS website about this new shoe are very vague. So there's no heel offset, no stack height or anything like that, which I do find a bit weird because normally their website is very detailed. So surely you want to give the customers as much information about your product so they can make an informed decision. So what I'm going to try and do is dig a bit deeper, guys, and if I do manage to get hold of some more information, I will pop it up on the screen here. So it should be here right now. Obviously, if I haven't, there's nothing there and I look like a bit of a fool, but hopefully there is. If there isn't, I do apologize for the lack of info. As far as the construction goes, we've actually got some information here, so let's break it down in a bit more detail. First up, we've got this nice lightweight, durable, highly breathable engineered mesh upper, and that's actually got an internal anti-debris lining, so that's there to try and prevent sort of grit and sand getting within the shoe. We've got a moderate level of padding around the ankle collar and in the gusseted tongue, and there's quite a lot of sort of overlay action on this upper. So we've got a TPU film starting at the heel, working along that midfoot, and then wrapping all the way around the toe box. Like most of the running shoes in the KAILAS lineup, the FUGA YAO comes with their lace tightening system. So no standard sort of shoelaces here. We've got this cord system with this little plastic locking mechanism on it. So very similar to Salomon's Speed Lace setup. All you need to do, pull those cord laces tight around your foot, slide down that locking mechanism into place, stow the remaining laces into that handy pocket, and you are ready to go running. As far as the midsole construction goes, and you can see we've got quite a lot of it, so this is definitely a deeply cushioned shoe. We've actually got a dual density setup, so we've got this top layer of softer foam that cradles around your foot so you're slightly sunk into it, giving you that nice plush feel. And then the bottom layer is a higher density material to offer good levels of support and stability. And then finally, we've actually got a carbon plate at the midfoot that you can see just poking through the midsole there. Again, that's been put into place to control the twisting at the midfoot, to try and keep all your power sort of moving in a forward direction. So if I do try and twist the shoe, it does feel pretty stiff through that midfoot. So it's going to be interesting to see how that feels out on today's run. And lastly, we've got that outsole, and like I've already said, this is not a running shoe that's been set up to handle UK muddy winter conditions with this shallow lug. However, we do have Vibram Mega Grip rubber on the bottom of it, so it should handle wet tarmac, wet rocky conditions really well, because this is sticky rubber, that's for sure. But there you have it, the all new hybrid running shoe from KAILAS, the FUGA YAO. Now, like I just said, we are heading up country for today's run, and it is going to be pretty early out there. So I'm going to go and get ready, and we'll see you guys out there. Okay, so you join me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the beautiful fishing village of Padstow. So we've driven up the A30, gorgeous, gorgeous little village. You can probably hear the seagulls squawking because it is quite early. So we travelled up last night, we stayed in the town and we had a beautiful meal at Rick Stein's Cafe. My dad actually bought us a gift voucher for Christmas, so we thought we'd come up and spoil ourselves. The food was amazing. I definitely overindulged, so it's going to be good to get a run in this morning and run some of them calories off. The other reason I thought I'd pop to Padstow is because they've got the camel trail here. Now, I thought this was perfect testing grounds for the Fuga Yao because we're going to have a bit of tarmac heading out Padstow, and then we're going to pick up the camel trail. Super popular trail, lots of dog walkers, bikers, runners and walkers, but it's a nice gravelly path, so it should be really good testing ground. So hopefully going to get a good 10k in, 7 miles maybe, but let's get off this tarmac, let's get on the camel trail. Okay, so we're about halfway done, so just coming up to 3 miles. It's been a long time since I've been out on the camel trail, and I forgot what a stunning location this is for a run. It's a brilliant place to come if you're in Cornwall and you're marathon training. You can get a long run out here, you can do your speed work on the flat, but you don't have to worry about traffic. There's a few cyclists, dog walkers, things like that, but there's no cars or anything to run you over. So a really safe place to come and do your training. As far as the shoes go, feels really comfortable out of the box. That dual compound midsole feels nicely cushioned on the hard stuff. The upper fits really well around my midfoot, but very similar to when I tested the Fuga DU. It does taper in or pinch in quite a lot of the toe. I haven't got a wide foot shape and it does feel quite narrow in the toe box. I tend to go for a UK 9 in a KAILAS. I find that a lot of their shoes actually size up quite long. But for these, maybe I should have gone up to a 9.5. It might give me a bit more space in the toe, but fitting really good around the midfoot. And like I say, that dual compound midsole feels great. Okay, right, that's enough of sitting around. Let's continue the run. We got probably another half a mile to go and then we'll hit the turning point and then we're gonna head back to Padstow. Okay, made it back to the accommodation, had a good run back there and did a couple of miles at low 7-minute miling, but I think it's definitely time for a nice veggie breakfast. So we'll get back to the studio using the magic of YouTube and we're going to break down the performance of this shoe in a bit more detail, but we'll see you guys there. Whoa, we're back. Good old YouTube magic worked again and it makes life a lot easier, that's for sure. But myself and Liga had a wonderful time in Padstow and we actually stayed in a place called the London Inn, which is a pub over 220 years old, right in the centre of town. We had a great stay there, lovely room, and we were in the bar the night before and having a nice drink in front of this lovely roaring fire, and it got us thinking about how awesome is it to stay in a building that's over 220 years old, and I'm sure there's been some very interesting things happening there over the years. It was nice to wake up early after the meal and head out onto the camel trail, and it was a great location to test out the Fuga Yao. I actually did a lot more talking out on the run. Unfortunately, me and my sausage fingers recorded it all in time-lapse mode on the GoPro, so all that footage was completely useless. But let's get stuck in and find out how the shoes performed out on their first run. Like all the KAILAS shoes I've tested on the channel, they were very comfortable straight out the box, and that dual compound midsole offered me good levels of cushioning to soak up those long sections of tarmac. That top layer of foam is actually very plush, but the shoe's not over cushioned, so I still had good levels of connection and feel underfoot. You really can tell it's a shoe that's been designed to cross over for those sections of hard stuff and dry summer trails. Although saying that, we had a bit of rain the night before, so there was a few puddles to deal with along the way. Obviously, having that brilliant mega grip rubber on the outsole from Vibram gave me great levels of grip and traction on those wet sections of tarmac, and I felt nice and confident on my footing. Before we ran, I wasn't sure about that carbon plate that's been worked into the midfoot of the shoe, because it does make that shank of the shoe feel quite stiff, but when I actually got up into running motion, I didn't really notice it at all, if I'm honest. I'm not sure it's there for any added propulsion like most carbon plates are in running shoes, but it definitely didn't feel too rigid. As far as the fit goes, felt nice around my midfoot, very secure from that gusseted tongue and that quick lace system, and I had good levels of hold in the heel, so they felt really connected to running. But there is a very similar shape to this shoe compared to another shoe in the KAILAS range that we actually tested last year, the FUGA DU, and I found that with the FUGA DUs, the toe box pinched in very early, and it did feel a little bit narrow for my foot shape, and I kind of got a very similar feel from these on today's run. I ended up running 7.2 miles on the run, and I threw in a couple of quicker miles just for good effort, and I had no discomfort issues while I was running, but I did feel if I'd have pushed on a bit longer, maybe into double figures, that I might have had a little bit of irritation by the end of it. So once I'd stopped running, the outside of my little toe on my right foot, which just so happens to be my longer foot, was a little bit tender. Now, I normally go down in size in the KAILAS shoes to a 9 from my normal UK 9.5, because I feel a lot of their models actually size up quite long. However, because of the shape of this toe box, maybe a UK 9.5 or a 10 would have been a better option. When I picked up the pace on the way back, I was actually surprised how lively the FUGA YAO felt. Got good levels of energy return from that midsole compound, and they felt pretty efficient out there on the tarmac. So handled the slow, steady stuff nice and comfortable, and then felt pretty responsive when I ran quicker. However, not sure I'd want to use it as a road running shoe, especially when I compare it to some of the other road shoes I've got in my collection. So rounding up with a quick conclusion on my first run in the new FUGA YAO, and I enjoyed the miles I spent in them. The shoe felt comfortable, and like I said, I was surprised how lively it felt when I upped the pace. However, I would like maybe a bit more width in that toe box, and if I had to spend this sort of money on a shoe from the KAILAS lineup, then I personally would go for the FUGA EX2. I just think it's a much more versatile shoe. You've got a bit more width in the toe, you get a deeper lug on the outsole, but you still get that brilliant Vibram mega grip rubber, whereas the FUGA YAO maybe is a little bit limited when it comes to the type of terrain that you run on. I've actually done a full in-depth review on the FUGA EX2, so I'll leave a link in the description below in case you want to check it out. Really hope you enjoyed seeing another part of Cornwall on today's video, and if you are ever down this way, then the Camel Trail is definitely worth a visit. If you're down on a family holiday and you've brought your bikes along, it's a great place to take the family, or even if you haven't got bikes, there's lots of places you can hire them from. I'd recommend going to a place called Wadebridge, maybe hiring some bikes, riding into Padstow for lunch or for an ice cream or for both, and then riding back to Wadebridge where you've parked. It's a great route, stunning scenery along the way, and a super safe environment for the whole family, and it's only about a 10-mile round trip, so more than achievable. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed the video and you found it helpful, to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and you can also follow us on our other social media platforms if you'd like to see what we're getting up to there, whether it be Instagram, Facebook or Strava. But for now guys, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel, it really is appreciated. We'll be back here very soon with another exciting piece of running content, and as always, stay safe and keep on running. It's great to have you back, and thanks for watching. If you have just discovered the channel, then welcome. It's fitting well out there. I'm Lloyd Purvis and you are watching Run4Adventure. It's been designed to soak up sections of tarmac, gravel path, or very dry shrummer trails. was a little bit tender once I'd stopped running. I normally